So actually in the last video, we saw how you can install 5GC on VirtualBox. In this session, we will, install 5GC in one of the virtual machine and UERANSim in different virtual machine, and we'll try to communicate each other. So to do so, you need to go to File and Preferences, and in Network, you have this NAT network. You just configure it, and you will see that this is the CIDR, means the IP address that would be assigned to you to this virtual machine would be 10.0.2.0/24, and I will support DHCP, and I can click OK. So this would be the assigned IP address. So let me change it to one custom value. I will use the class C address. Okay, and when I click OK, which if it is updated, okay, it is updated here. I can go to my machine that is running in settings in the network. I have to just select NAT network here. So if earlier the selected option would be NAT, you have to go and select the NAT network and the corresponding NAT network name that you have. And you can, select this Prometheus mode, allow all. This is for capturing the traffic. And similarly for the other machine, you have to change it to NAT network and allow all, and you can click OK. So now if you go to your virtual machine and check here, okay. So the current IP that is assigned is this one. So I will just do one thing. I will just disconnect your network cable. So this option is to disconnect your network cable and connect the network cable again. So this is just like you pull out your Ethernet cable and connect it again. So you will see that the communication is going on now, and the IP should be updated.
So this NAT network is communicating between two virtual machines, right?
Okay, so if I go to whiteboard, I will explain you in a better way. Just give me a moment. So this is like this. Let me go to new whiteboard. So suppose you have a virtual machine running here, right? This is your virtual machine, VM1, okay? And this is your other virtual machine, VM2, okay? This is inside or virtual box. This is virtual box. And this is your, you can say, network, okay? So this connection is, you can say you are using a network address translation, because suppose your IP is 192.168.1.1 here. Okay, so this virtual box will translate it to corresponding IP that you have. For example, earlier it was 10.0.2.15, but earlier the option was only NAT. So what was happening, that this is separate and this is separate. So both were NAT to different port, and both can use same IP. But now as soon as you change it to NAT network, what are you doing? You are creating a virtual network here, like you are connecting it to each other. Okay. And this is a NAT network. And you have the suppose subnet here 192.168.100.0/24. So the IP would be assigned here 192.168.100.1 and 192.168.100.2. And these two can communicate between each other, as well as towards the internet based on this NAT network. So earlier it was only NAT. So individually the virtual machine were connecting to the internet. Now it is connecting to a network, kind of a switch, you can say. And based on that switch, it is connecting to the, you can say, the NAT network. So this is the only difference between NAT and NAT network. So if you see here, if I go to my wired connection settings, if you So it should get the IP address from automatically from DHCP. So right now it's not able to get it. It's still, you know, let me just reboot it. So if I start, it should get the updated IP address from this DHCP address 192.168.100.0. So let's see if this is getting this IP. So we can install this also on AWS as well. So I will show you in next video how to install it on AWS, and we can use it for communication.
Now we open two virtual box, right?
Yeah, two virtual boxes. So let me just turn it off and connect. See, it is showing here adapter 1 NAT network and cable is connected now. And the IP is still 10.0. It's getting this IP. So still it is getting this IP. Let me check here again. Okay. Okay, I think the IP is same. Let me check if it is able to ping 15. Okay, and here it is 10.0.2.4. Okay, so see, it is able to communicate now. This is 10.0.2.4 and this is 15.
Yes.
Okay, so now what I will do, I will just, this is my 5G code. Okay, so I will just go to, let's see, Open5GS AMFD. Yes, I can just update the AMF IP. You need to do a sudo because it would require certain permissions. And here I can update the AMF NG API IP. So NGAP IP that we need to have here is, it should be the IP of this virtual machine, that is 10.0. I think this is 2.4. 2.4. Okay, 2.4. So I will just update it, and I will restart the service. Service Open5GS AMF restart, and I can check
So
the status.
AMF will update on ransom, right?
No, AMF is just give me a moment. It is giving error. So what we are doing in this virtual machine, we are just updating the IP of AMF, because our GNodeB will connect to AMF only, right? And in other virtual machine, we will run our, you can say, GNodeB. Okay.
Okay, one virtual machine is 5G core and second one is ransom, right?
Yes. UERANSim,
And
which has this one. You can say the GNodeB and the UE.
correct. So you define the AMF on 5G core, correct? To communicate with the
Yes. So
UE ransom.
only interface that we need to you can say update is AMF NGAP, because we are just connecting with the you can say the GNodeB. Now, if you try to move UPF into another virtual machine, we will update the other instance. I think there's some format error. So if you start it and it will give you this error, the format is not correct. So let me check here. Okay. So it should be. Now let me start the service. So it is giving another error.
Creating second AMF, right?
Yeah, just I'm copying from the backup, and I will just update it here. 10. Okay, so it is started now. So if you have any issue with the format, it will not take the configuration. So that's why I copied it from backup, and I have to update the MCC and MNC here also. This one, and MNC is okay. I will just start it again. Okay, so it's working. Now our AMF is open to this IP 10.0.2.4. Now if I go to my second virtual machine, and
So AMF2 is a 2 AMF or only one AMF?
only one AMF, and that is working on this IP address. So let me
Okay.
just go to UERANSim. Let me just update it here. So these are the all the details. This is for the UE. I will update the GNodeB first. Okay. So the AMF IP is 10.0.2.4. Okay. And here we have to update our local IP for the GNodeB. So the GNodeB is on 15. Okay. This I will put to 127.0.1. Okay, so this IP link IP is for the radio link simulation. So this is what is happening. Our UE is in the same machine. So we are using the localhost IP. Now NGAP is on different machine. So I'm using the current machine to communicate with this IP. And then GTP IP is also a different machine. Okay, because SGW or you can say the UPF is in that machine only. So we need an external IP to communicate. And MCC is 001 and MNC is 01. Okay, so I've just executed it. So I will just do dot build ng nr GNodeB -c Open5GS GNodeB.yml. And okay, so it is giving me unknown P11. So but you can see the connection is established. SCTP connection is established. Now if I just do so at least our SCTP is established. And here also if we see here, you will see that GNodeB and UE is accepted. This is the IP of the GNodeB. And I have the error ng setup failure cannot find NSSAI. So this we need to troubleshoot now. Okay. This is because of the slice configuration. So in 5G, the
Okay.
challenge is to have a slice configuration correct.
Right.
When you have the incorrect slice configuration, you will have this unknown P11 error. Okay. So in this, let's troubleshoot. Before I do, I will just open a T-Shark terminal. So you will see the flow of the communication as well. Okay. Let me just do sudo T-Shark -ini. Okay. Now if I do, you will see this is the SCTP communication. Okay. First of all, you have this ARP, right? This is trying to resolve the IP address who has 10.0.2.4, and this is the IP address. Then you have the SCTP communication, like SCTP, you have init. Okay. This is when I press the Control C. I press Control C here. Okay. So the SCTP shutdown happened. Then this is the new SCTP session. So you will have init acknowledgement, okay, cookie and cookie acknowledgement. And then you have the data transmission, and this is for the acknowledgement of the data. Okay. Then the SCTP keep alive will come into picture where you have heartbeat and heartbeat acknowledgement. This is to make the association, you can say, alive, so that it does not die out. So this is the complete communication on SCTP. Now the problem is in Wireshark we cannot capture the 5G traces as of now. So it will not show you NGAP or you can say other interfaces. So yeah, I'm getting this NG setup procedure is failed. Now let's check the configuration again. If I remove this slice descriptor here, and let us check here, what is the slice descriptor? Okay. So there was no slice descriptor mentioned, only SST1 is mentioned here. So let's try to connect now. If our configuration is correct. Okay, so ng setup procedure is successful. And here you can see number of GNodeB is now 1. So what I just removed was let me show you. You can also browse it from the folder in UERANSim. You have config. In config you have OpenGS GNodeB, Open5GS GNodeB. So I just removed the slice descriptor which was present here, like this one. So I just removed it. Why? Because this is not in our AMF configuration. So in AMF configuration, if you want to put the slice descriptor, first we need to define it here. This is our 5G core. Then is it okay, right?
क्या कह रहे हैं?
समझ में आया?
हाँ यार, मेरे को एक चीज समझ में नहीं आई, हमने जो ये इशू क्यों आया जब मतलब वो एनजी सेटअप वाला फेलियर जो हो गया था.
वही मैं बता रहा हूँ ना. Because we had this slice descriptor. Let me show you here. In this configuration, okay. In SST configuration, we have following 3 types. So I will give you. Okay. In slice, okay, this is slice type, right? We have 3 configuration. One is SST, okay, and then second is ST. So here in AMF, you will see you have only configuration related to SST. Okay, but in our GNodeB, earlier what the configuration was, we had SST as well and SD as well. So we just
Okay,
removed
both
SD. So both AMF and GNodeB should have the same configuration. Okay. So now if we check our UE configuration as well, it also has SD1. So we'll just remove it. Okay. And for default NSSI as well. And in this other terminal, I will just try to add this. So I will just go build. Okay. And NR UE and -c configuration Open5GS UE.yml. So authentication reject. This is because roaming is not allowed. So this is different issue. Earlier we were getting 5G is not allowed, but here we are getting 5U3 roaming is not allowed. Now let's go to this configuration, and when you are working with this, you will see a lot of troubleshooting.
right.
So this will be very helpful in understanding 5G. Okay, and I will just record this session. I will